Good day to you. Welcome back to the podcast, Catch It, A New Perception. My name is Ketuk. Thinking about how it is we move in life and the things we do and the actions that we take and the story that we tell other people with the actions that we take. The story we tell ourselves about the actions that we take. Think about a couple different things right off the top of my head, like being prompt. That for some people that may mean being early. For some people that may mean being right on time. And I think that it's important that we find out what it means to us and how we can move with that. What it is we tell ourselves. I'm never late. I don't know why I'm always late. What type of events is it possible to be late for, and what happens when you're late and you miss the boat? You know, I know these people that put together a boat cruise. They may possibly have a motivational speaker. I believe they do. Possibly some music. It's an annual event, and they just do a boat cruise down a local river. That boat, when they tell you what time it will leave at that minute. If you are not boarded a minimum of 60 seconds beforehand, you will not be going with them. Being late allows you to not go. If you attempt to board a plane and you are late, and once they close that gate, you are not getting that gate open. I've heard things from people at those gates that there's federal regulations against it. I'm not sure the technical side of anything like that. I just know that that's something that I want to be prompt for. I would like to be early for. A boat cruise that I know is going to leave promptly at this time, not 1 minute later. I would like to not walk in last minute too. I don't want to miss it when I have a paid ticket to hear a motivational speaker and a band and whatever else may be going on. So for me, there's certain things where that timeline is very important. How do I continue to believe the actions that I'm taking? How do I continue when it comes to something like this to understand what it means to the people around me? When I tell my friends I'm going to go on this boat cruise, I'd really like to see this band if you guys are interested. You know, it's not a very expensive ticket. It is a paid ticket. And if you guys want to join me, that would be great. And my friends go, they get on the boat, they show up early. I show up right at the time it's supposed to take off, and I'm watching them leave the dock. That doesn't fare very well for many things that I speak of when it comes to telling my friends that I'll show up with them, telling someone that I'm always on time, I'm always prompt, and I showed up right at that moment, and it was already gone. Trying to get on a plane, and I'm leaving the country, and I have problems getting through the gates. I have problem, and all of a sudden, I get to the door of the plane, it's closed. There is no way I'm getting on that plane. There may be another plane to that country today. There may not be. I don't have an option at that point. Prompt means being early in those instances. And what does it mean in other instances? I was talking about going to see a band. Maybe a band on this cruise is what I was referring to. What about going to see a live show and it's like, oh yeah, the band I want to see, they're playing last, and there's 3 bands, so I'm not worried about the first band. I'm not worried about the opening act just because I want to go see the main band. Now, some of this may not resonate with some of you, and some of you may understand. I've gone to see some warm-up bands. Make sure I go early. Okay, now some of this may not be music that some of you people can relate to or understand or know who these bands are. Some of the opening acts I've seen are bands like Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Weezer as a warm-up band in a club, Rage Against the Machine as the opening act in a club, Dave Matthews Band as an opening act, Hootie and the Blowfish as the opener in a small venue. There are many bands that have blown up to be a big deal that were the opening band one time. And they were a really good set, often. So I just give you a few different genres of music that I listened to and a few different bands that were warm-up bands. And I didn't wait to see the final act, the band I was going to see that day. I went early. I went to see the first band. Often I knew who it was going into it. Sometimes I didn't know who they were. One time specifically, I remember I had no idea who this band was. And the opening band blew away everything else I had seen that day. And I saw in a couple different venues a few different bands. So I want to show up early. Being prompt, I benefit from. Much less the respect of someone else if I show up early, if I'm prompt. As I was speaking about, you go on this cruise and there's a motivational speaker and a band, those are 2 things that I can both appreciate both of. Going to see a motivational speaker, going to see a band, I really appreciated a lot of those. So, what about when I'm going to see a motivational speaker and I walk in late? Or I walk in early, maybe even get a chance to introduce myself to this person. I may be familiar with them because I know her name, or I've heard some things that she does, or I've heard a little bit about this person and I know what he's about. That may be possible, and maybe I'm going in a little blind just to see what they can offer me. Because when I listen to a motivational speaker, if they can give me one good thing, one nugget, one thing to carry with me, it's like a spiritual awakening. When I hear a motivational speaker and they say something to me to allow my spirit to awaken, that I can never think the same again because of the gift that they've offered me through speech. Because I got there early and it's what they opened up with. It was the first thing they talk about, that impactful moment of where they once were and how they never thought the same again, and they were able to do things different. If I'd have walked in 5 minutes late, I would have missed it. Maybe I did. I want to be able to be prompt. I tell people I'm prompt. I don't necessarily not go to an event because I'm late. I know I spent years doing that. I would be on my way. Something would happen, get in my way, or I was running late and I did not get there on time. If it had started prior to that, I would not walk in. I would turn around, I would leave, I would go do something different. I would not participate if I was not early or on time. Now, that's me personally, some hang-ups I had at the time. I don't know how I got over it. I don't know how I changed it. Now, that's not often something I say on this podcast because I like to identify when something changed. I'm very conscious of my conscious mind. I'm aware of some of the things that absorb into my subconscious mind. I don't know when that shifted. I think it was gradual. I think it was slow. I think it was many different things that were said to me. It wasn't that one big spiritual awakening where my spirit awoke because of what someone said and let me know I can walk in late and I'm going to be okay. Maybe my egotism was in the way and somebody was talking about that. Is my egotism in the way when I walk in late every time? Because there was a time in my life where I spent a little time with someone, a very short period of time, and I was late for years after that. Often, doing many things. Just waited too long to get out the door rather than put down what I'm doing and come back to it when I can be efficient and go do what I need to do. Be prompt. Be on time. Be respectful of the speaker. Be respectful of the other people. Rather than walking in late, now needing to walk to the front of the room because that's the best place that there's a seat available, and getting everyone's attention when I'm walking in. If I walk in late, I try to find a seat in the back. If they're sitting in circles, sit to the back circle as far as possible. If someone's at a podium and I'm try to go to the back of the room. As I walk in the back of the room, just find a seat and nobody sees me walk in. I don't have to get everyone's attention when I walk in late. Keep my egotism out of the things that I do. It's very important the way that I walk. That I don't do things to get people's attention. When I do things and I get people's attention, that's something different. Do I sometimes attempt to get someone's attention? I'm sure I do. That's not lost on me. What I believe I need to be able to do is walk with a good heart today. Walk with good intentions of being on time. Take the correct action to be able to be on time. Tell someone I'm going to be prompt and then follow through. So I speak it into existence. I take the correct action to be able to make it happen. I walk with a good heart so I know that I'm doing it for the right reasons. I have much to learn. I come into this lifetime to teach and to learn. And my main focus is on what I can learn. What I can learn and why it's important to me to be prompt. Some people just don't care. That's okay. If you're one of those people that show up late and you believe that that's what you're going to do and you tell yourself that you run late and then you take the action to always run late, that's okay. That's on you. I've heard people apologize for cussing in front of me when they've heard stories about why I don't cuss or the fact that I choose to not do that or not use that language. And then they'll be cussing and they'll look at me and they'll apologize. And my thought is, you have nothing to apologize to me for. It's not about me. How you speak has nothing to do with me. It reflects on you. You showing up late has nothing to do with me. It reflects on you. It's who you are. It's who you're choosing to be. Or maybe you will make a choice to show up differently, to see things differently, to be different. You can be whoever you choose to be today. You have that option. You can show up however it is you want to show up. Don't get me wrong, I have been a mess at times in my life. Today, I do not want to be the same mess that I once was. Looking forward to next time. Live in harmony with and use the bounty of the land to bring kindness to the world. Dok Shao, okay?